Risha.
And my name is Shaquita.
And welcome to Searching for Free.
Alrighty, so this video here is basically it's just to update you on how we're doing in our singleness. I know we started off, first video about celibacy and talking about our purity and our singleness, and then the intro is basically just kind of letting you know some topics, where we stood. But these past 2 weeks,
baby,
if we can be honest, it hasn't been our best. And so we both thought that it would be good to just kind of share and just kind of pour out our heart on how we've been doing.
Right. I mean, that's the whole reason we wanted to make this channel, because we wanted it to be how things are going in the midst of it, not just after the fact. So we felt like it was only right to be transparent in those moments when this is something that we're going through right now.
Right. So, sis, I'm just going to ask you, are you okay? How have you been?
I've been better. In regards to my singleness, I felt like it's been a switch. Like before, I felt like God has, I felt like I had a fresh wind. Like when you would see people, like they're talking about, okay, right now, like it's when I stopped looking. That's when I felt at peace. I was worried about me and him. I was focusing on what I was supposed to be doing. Like I felt like I was in that space where it was just like, God, I'm not worried about a spouse when he's coming. And even in situations where I would have been like, oh, I may want to go to that outing because he may be there, In this season, it was just like, I don't even know if I want to go because he may be there. I'm not ready because I've been having such intimate moments with God. I felt like he is doing a new thing in me. Over the past week or so, week and a half, like something just switched. And if I'm completely honest, there has been someone in my mind that I'm just like, okay, maybe that might be a good look, And it's frustrated me because it's caused me a little bit of confusion, because it's like, okay, so God, is this of you? Is this what you desire of me, or is this a distraction? What about you?
Oh, let's not talk about me. No, just playing. Oh my goodness. Just like you, I've been walking in green pastures, as they may say, lying beside the still waters. Just focusing, on myself, on my healing, doing the hard work, getting my house in order, things that are in me, that are not like God, allowing him to come in and just, like you said, do a new thing. That's been my focus. Like, haven't been about a spouse, making sure protecting my eyes, the things that I hear, the conversations that are being had. Like, I'm careful because, at this point in our walk, of course, you're constantly learning, but at a point in your walk, you kind of learn your triggers. And so for me, I feel like I was being careful. So yeah. That didn't work, okay?
Girl.
I'm just like, not that it didn't work, but it didn't stop. Like, I'm human, and that's something that I had to realize. Like, I'm human, and it's okay. God placed that desire for marriage in my heart for a reason, for his kingdom. But at the same time, it hasn't been easy. One moment, I'm content. I'm good. I'm happy, God. Thank you for my singleness. Thank you for this opportunity to, do your work, do your call.
Right there with you, like literally retracing my steps, like, because I felt like I had made it. Like, it's like, God, we have been praying for this for so long, because it's like, yes, we do desire a spouse, and yes, we do want that, but I don't want to be concerned about it. I don't want to walk into a room and be thinking, is this the day that I'm going to meet him? I guess I feel like it's something that I've had to continuously be in prayer about, because it's like, God, where's the balance between being still and just knowing that you are God, and that in timing everything will happen the way that it's supposed to, and then walking in expectancy? Like, how do I balance the two in this situation, in this particular area in my life, because it's like, okay, what does that look like? Walking in expectancy, it's like, okay, I know that he's coming. I don't have a fear about that because God, you've told me that that will happen for me. So I know that it will. But those thoughts of walking in expectancy sometimes can be a blurred line in between, okay, is he coming? I need to prepare for this.
With that being said, how are you guarding your heart? Because I know when I was, just sharing my heart with you, being transparent with you, and you asked that question, so how are you guarding your heart?
And how did you respond? In your heart.
So, how are you guarding your heart? Yeah, what do you mean? Why would you ask me that? I'm sharing with you what I'm going through, and you ask me how am I guarding my heart? Accountability, really? Right now? For me, that you asking that question, so how are you guarding your heart? God was already speaking to me, basically saying, you need to do this, this, and this. Go ahead and do it. And normally I would be afraid and think about it. I need days. It was like, okay, I already told my friend about it, so there's freedom in my transparency. So I went ahead and, put those boundaries in place.
Girl, yes. And then on top of that, like, how many times have we started talking about something and been like, okay, well, girl, you know that don't sound right. Like, you know that that's no good for you. And then we'll start trying to convince ourselves and each other, like, but no, girl, like, he is good. Like, his parents know the Lord. Like you just start convincing.
His parents go to church.
They praying for him. He covered. So it's like we've learned those, and it's just like I'm not about to play that game with you right now. Since you already know what's up, like what you doing?
You already know what you doing. I'll put those.
What you doing?
Guarding my heart.
Well, for me, like it's more of I definitely had to take those precautions to guard my heart, because you know how it is when you see somebody that you think that they can be potential prospects, or you think that they're not even prospect for a spouse, just someone that you could be interested in just as a person in general. Like you start scrolling just down Instagram, you end up back in 2016, when you graduated, all this stuff about
him.
He
has a dog.
You just, all this stuff about the guy, and it's like, sis.
I mean, many mission trips he's been on.
Sis.
Women know how to do their research.
He asked you out. he hasn't. Like, what conversations have you really had? And like, you're going above and beyond. So for me, I had to guard my heart in that aspect to make sure that I'm not on Instagram doing what I'm not supposed to be doing.
I can also say that honesty played a big part this time for me, because I'm the type of person, if it's not in my face, then I don't normally, that means I don't have to deal with it. So for me, it was reaching out, letting you know what was going on, in my thoughts and my heart, and just being honest with myself, being honest with God, and just saying, hey, this is where I'm at, these are my thoughts. I'm laying them at your feet, God. I don't know where this is coming from, but, God, I ask you to cover me, give me grace in that area, and, not try to not deal with it, but actually just grow through it, live through the moment, not dwell in it, but just say, okay, God, I'm here in this place again, but I'm going to keep my eyes on you. I'm going to stay focused on you. But at the same time, I'm not going to stuff it under the rug. I know that if this is the season, if this is the time, or whether it's not, as long as my eyes is stayed on you, it's not something that I don't have to be afraid that I'm going to miss.
Marriage is not the end goal.
Right.
Like, that's not what we are searching for. The end goal is to be with our heart and our eyes set on you, to be desiring this relationship with you. And you've graced me to be in this moment. Why is it that I can't stay here? And I had to be honest, like, it made me upset. It made me frustrated because, one, it's like, okay, well, what happened? Why am I in this place now? Why am I not now thinking about this when I wasn't then? Like, what happened? Like, what step did I miss? Is this a cycle? Like, where do I need to go back to get back to there? So it frustrated me, and I had to be honest with God about that, because it's like, God, like, I desire a spouse, but I don't want to think about this. I don't want to think about him. Let him come when he comes, but until then, let it just be me and you and what you have for me to do. Like, I don't want to be concerned about this.
Right, and I definitely agree. I was content. Well, okay, God, my eyes is on you.
And then one thing that really clicked, I feel like it was an aha moment for us, was when you were talking about the thorn.
Oh yeah, it just hit me. I was like, yeah, I remember in the scripture Paul was saying how he asked God, 3 times, God, please remove this thorn from my flesh. And people, we really don't know what he was talking about. We don't know if he was talking about loneliness or marriage or a spouse. We don't know. We just know he asked God 3 times to remove it, and God basically told him, my grace is sufficient for you. And so with that, it was like that just gave me peace to know that even though this is something that we're in constant prayer about, we're in constant conversation about, being transparent, being honest, constantly in our closet about it. His grace is sufficient.
Right. And it's just like, although we do desire those things, and although he does want that intimate relationship with us, how much more does it draw us closer to him when we are asking him to help us through those, when we are showing him that we are placing him above all else, because we don't want to go back to idolizing a marriage. I remember, like, especially in the beginning of my walk, like, I would feel like God did not want to hear the same thing over and over again. Sometimes I'd be like, okay, I don't want to keep bringing this to him. I know he's tired of this. And of course he's not like that. I've learned that over the years, but that's still something that I battled with in the beginning. It's like, okay, I'm just not going to talk about this because God doesn't want to hear about this anymore. I'm tired of hearing myself talk about this. So, like, but still, like, now it's still, I don't want to be bothered by this annoying thorn, So it's like, I'm just gonna pretend like it's not here. But very quickly we realize that it's still there, and I have to be vulnerable with him in order for him to heal me in those areas.
Yeah, so I feel like just talking to God, it's like a relationship. Just learning about relationship all within itself. So when there's a situation, like it's like we're learning, whether how to deal with anything when it comes to a relationship. If there's an issue, you don't just hide it, or you just don't, not address it. So I feel like in this moment, we learn to not just hide it, but just to, okay, I need to go to God and I need to address this situation with him. Last question of the night. With everything that we've battled, with everything that's going on, the thoughts that we've overcome, that we're continuing to battle, what would you say that victory, like what does victory look like for you?
Victory looks like dancing in the meadow with him. Victory looks like transparency. Victory looks like not being in bondage, being able to say that, yes, I'm hurting because of something, or I don't know how to figure this out. I don't know what I'm going to do, but still be hopeful, still be walking and feeling joy in the midst of the pain. And I know that may be a crazy concept, but victory truly is being in pain, but still having joy at the same time, because God is just that good.
Victory over this situation for me means even though the weapons may form, they won't prosper. It means that no matter what, God is with me. Victory for me means that things will happen. Things will happen, and as long as I'm allowing God to fight my battles, the situation would turn out okay. Victory for me means not repeating the same cycles. It means that it means for me, it's taking me back to Jonathan McReynolds. Learning from my learning from my mistake before Satan does. Victory for me, it means a lot of things, but for me it just means that I'm free. I'm free from those things that used to hold me in bondage in the past. It means that, Philippians, like, oh, dear brothers and sisters, I have not achieved it yet, but this one thing I do is I forget the past and I keep pressing. That's what victory means to me, just running this race. Even though it's chaos around me.
It is victory, just knowing that although we don't know what it's going to look like, although in this moment it may feel like, okay, I feel like maybe I'm not in the promised land because that's a place where I want it to be, not being concerned about that. Having these thoughts and being concerned about that, still knowing that it's not over, still knowing that everything is still going to be okay. Even though I'm having these thoughts, although I may not want to be in this mental space right now, and not saying that it's a horrible mental space to be in, but knowing that God is still good and that I don't have to be concerned about anything.
I'm thinking about that song, you know, I'm gonna see you.
Girl, I've been singing that in my head for the past 2 minutes.
Battle belongs to you, Lord, you know. Yeah, and this is how we're fighting our battle, you know, being honest, being transparent with you guys on how we are doing in this season of our singleness. This is not the end of it, but this is where we are. And so
yeah, we definitely don't have all the answers. We are not perfect. Once we feel that we make it, like sometimes God has to show us that there's still more to be healed. There's still more that he needs to do a work on us. He still needs to search our hearts, and we don't know everything about that yet. But we want to be a place where you know that you're not the only one going through, that you're not the only one who is out here concerned about a spouse or not wanting to be concerned about a spouse and just wanting to do what God has for you. Like, we want you to know that you're not alone.
that's it.